Ryan Day was speaking in front of the business community in Columbus, Ohio. Somehow, college football coaches speaking in front of local business communities has generated some of the best offseason content that we have seen in 2022. First, we had, yes, Nick Saban talk about Texas A&M buying players in front of the Birmingham establishment. And now we have Ryan Day putting an actual number on what it might cost for him to keep his current roster in place and what it might cost for him to get the kind of recruits that Ohio State fans have come to know and love in Columbus. All right, so the number is $13 million, or about twice as much as he makes in an annual year, which is, well, gone up because he got a raise, so not that much more, but still significantly more. $13 million sounds like a lot of money because it is a lot of money because you and I live regular lives. But when you're talking about other contracts, say Aaron Donald getting $40 million annually, it's not that much money. And it certainly is not that much money when we're talking about college football players who I think could stand to make at least $13 million per player each and every year. But that is forcibly down the road, forcibly because I'm not the person standing in the way. There's a lot of other people that are standing in the way. But what does $13 million break down to? Okay? It is $150,000 annually for each of your 85 scholarship players, which is not realistic because the last thing that anybody wants is to make the same amount of money as the person next to them because money is how we keep score in this country. Or $500,000 for 26 players that you absolutely can't live without, like an entire recruiting class, or maybe every quarterback in offensive tackle on your depth chart. Who can know? Well, we also have Ohio State having planned ahead for this because with the NCAA announcing that it's relaxing its regulations on name, image, and likeness following Alston v. NCAA at this time last year, we've seen Ohio State and others come up with their own ways of trying to get involved in the NIL business without saying that we're getting involved in the NIL business. I'm going to outline that here in just a second. But first, landscape. NIL Corporate Ambassador Program is what Ohio State calls its NIL program. It is meant to encourage businesses in and around Ohio State to do business with the athletic department and Ohio State student athletes. I think using both of those things in conjunction to each other is Ohio State's athletics department ultimate goal, and I'll get to that in a minute too. Businesses get the opportunity to go into endeavors with athletes, a la pay them, also give them internships, things like that. But I thought that this was interesting. There are 5 points for which the ambassador program at Ohio State lays out what it attempts to do. And the 5th point is, quote, provide a mechanism for student athletes to utilize the name, image, and likeness while giving meaningful marketing and advertisement experience, and expertise to whomever wants to do business with them. Okay, it's a lot to unpack there that I said that I would. So I'm going to start with this. You're not really seeing the amount of money in college football go up, right? College football is a $5 billion industry. This is before we talk about name, image, and likeness. A lot of this money that, is in that $5 billion is donors giving money to schools in the form of, say, seat licenses, right? You rent a seat. You give this much money, you meet this much of a threshold, you get this sort of expected favorable treatment when it comes to getting your season tickets. There are season ticket packages that are sold in conjunction with some of these offerings. You also have, like at the University of Oklahoma, you can buy a brick, have your name on it, right? Some folks want to put things on their bricks that, have things to do with their dogs or their kids or what have you. This family wants to invest in this. All of this is money that once was going straight to the athletic department, straight to, say, even football, because you could put football in the memo of the check. Now you're seeing that money might get diverted to an individual player, because what you ultimately want, if you are an alumnus with lots of money, it's not necessarily to be synonymous with the university, but synonymous with this star player at the university, right? So using Ohio State as an example here, would you rather be in business with Ohio State this year or C.J. Stroud this year? And the next C.J. Stroud to come after C.J. Stroud the next year. So now you're seeing athletic departments having to compete with to try to get the same money that used to be just theirs, which is why I think it's interesting that we're seeing more universities go into name, image, and likeness with their eyes wide open, saying, hey, what if we can help broker the deal? Okay? We can help broker the deal. We can see how much money is being made, which is on its face favorable, right? If you're the university, you know how much money is coming in, you know what's possible, and perhaps even act as a quasi-agency. We're putting these two people together. We have access to Ohio State players. You want access to those players. We have them full time. Let's do business together here. I find this to be completely above board and not unlike any other agency that exists in the entire world. You see this all the time, but for whatever reason in college football, people want to clutch their pearls over these things. I also thought that Day's math was interesting in that he laid out $2 million is probably what it takes to keep a quarterback on his roster, say like a Kyle McCord, who is backing up a C.J. Stroud, and if something happens to C.J. Stroud, you like to see Kyle McCord get a shot at, starting like he did last year, the Akron game when they wanted to sit C.J. and give him a little time to rest up. You also want to keep Devin Brown on your roster, or, in my words, on the payroll, right? You want to keep that dude right where he is so you have this steady succession of Ohio State quarterbacks and future, you hope, first-round draft picks. He's also talking about $1 million for an offensive tackle, which, again, feels like a bargain to me, or a defensive end. Imagine getting JT Tuimoloau, or let me put this another way. Imagine getting Nick Bosa or Joey Bosa for $1 million annually. That's a bargain. When you want to play for national championships, you want to win the Big Ten championship, that's a bargain, all right? But I thought this quote was particularly interesting at Cleveland.com when Day reportedly said, quote, "One phone call and they're out the door. We cannot let that happen at Ohio State. I'm not trying to sound the alarm. I'm just trying to be transparent about what we're dealing with." Find that to also be really above board and on the nose, right? You saw Quinn Ewers reclassify, skip his senior year of high school so that he could get to Ohio State, and by getting to Ohio State, take what is $1 million offer from a local business in the state of Texas. We're also seeing this at a time when the state of Ohio, much like the state of Texas, refuses to allow its high school players to make money on their name, image, and likeness. I think that that is just ridiculous on a number of levels. The first of which is, what right do you have to stop anybody from making any money, right? I was asked this question not too long ago. It's like, hey, I started making money when I started cutting lawns, at 6 years old. Why would I stop somebody from making money when they can make it playing college football or even high school football? You are worth what somebody's willing to pay you. For you to put impediments in the way is, for me, un-American, okay? They can go into the military at 18. They should be able to make a buck at 18. I graduated high school when I was 18. It was a year back, right? Because I was short. Not that it did a whole lot because I'm still short. But you get my point here. If I was 18 years old, still in high school, I would feel some kind of way about a state legislator trying to keep me from making a buck doing what I'm the best in the world at. And that's what it means. Once you are making money, somebody's paying you to do a job, you are professional, and you get to compete as one of the best in the world at what you do. So one of the reasons that we keep such score is because we get to say to each other, this is how I know this person is more valuable to these people over here than this person is over here. It's one of the reasons that we look at these quarterback contracts in the NFL and we go, why does this keep going up? Because each one of those quarterbacks wants to make more than the guy next to him. Full stop, right? We were talking about Patrick Mahomes making $500 million over 10 years, and we were all going, that's so much money. Now you look at a guy like Deshaun Watson, and that's an entirely different can of worms, and he's making so much money because each one of these guys wants to make more than their peers. I don't see how that's any different than what you would have in college football, particularly at a place like Ohio State, where they are completely over the moon with their football team, and they very much want to win. I'm following this pretty closely and am interested in the conversation that you all are having around it. And I say you all because I keep saying this, man. I cannot get my head around clutching my pearls and being upset about the advent of name, image, and likeness, because that is quite literally how the rest of the world works, okay? And in some ways, it is free market capitalism at its best, okay? If you can afford it, you should be able to pay it if you want to pay it, right? You are worth what somebody's willing to pay. Full stop. I don't understand why we're still upset about this. But RJ, amateurism. Never was such a thing as amateurism. But RJ, it's college. You're supposed to learn stuff in college. No. You go to college to get a job. That's it. Most jobs that you want require a college diploma. For whatever reason, we decided that that was universally accepted and something we wanted in this country to be a prerequisite for anything like a quote-unquote good job. Now, the fact of the matter is, you don't need a college degree to do anything. You need somebody to give you a job to do anything. So if you can make the same money without a college diploma, by God, you should go do that. Now, that used to be the way it was. Now, all of a sudden, we've decided that we want to change up. I don't get it, man. I didn't go to college, get a master's degree, because I wanted to be the smartest dude on my block. One, I'm not. And two, I didn't really want to go to college in the first place. What I wanted was a job. I wanted to write for a living. I wanted to do this for a living. This is how I prove to the folks that give those jobs out that I am capable of doing those jobs. Football is about beating the dude in front of you. If you can beat the dude in front of you, you're going to win. If you win consistently, you're valuable to the team that you play on. If you're valuable to the team you play on and they make money, you should get a piece of that money. I don't understand why this math is so difficult for most people to understand. Thanks for watching this video, and remember, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any other videos on the #1 ranked show YouTube channel.